Welcome back. The Republic of China on Taiwan and St. Lucia held a handover of funds briefing on Monday to get started on the second phase of funds for the year 2018 and the first phase for 2019 to the Constituency Development Program (CDP). The amounts are over $2 million and over $10 million respectively. In attendance were Acting Prime Minister Leonard Montoot, Taiwan Ambassador His Excellency Douglas Shen, and officials from the Department of Economic Development. The Taiwanese ambassador said since the CDP was initiated by the former Taiwanese ambassador Tom Cho in 2007, the Taiwanese government has continued to work with the St. Lucian government to promote the program to improve the livelihoods of St. Lucians.
Rehabilitating and maintaining infrastructure facility in every community of this island. Projects such as flood mitigation, drainage, soil stabilization, pedestrian footpaths, community access roads, school facility and the bus station are all implemented with high quality and have broad benefit to the people of St. Lucia. The program has also created valuable employment opportunity to increase people's income, especially for the residents in rural areas. I'm very proud to tell you that the program has completed over 2,400 projects and create more than 25,000 jobs so far. The program plays a crucial role for the development of not only capacity but also the economic growth of St. Lucia.
Economic Development Minister Guy Joseph said the program is very meaningful to not only government but to various communities in St. Lucia.
It is one of the projects that trickle down to the average person in St. Lucia, in that it is easy to implement programs through the CDP that impact the lives of people. It is not the monumental projects alone that count. And that is why when you have maybe 5-6 houses in a community that still have to walk a muddy path, may still have to cross drains with just a piece of wood across the drain, and then you see these projects being implemented that changes the lives of these people in a very meaningful way. We must applaud the government of Taiwan and say special thanks to them for that level of support that we have received.
Meanwhile, the Acting Prime Minister expressed gratitude to the ambassador for continued support and efforts put towards the betterment of the island.
I want to express also as a parliamentary representative myself my sincere gratitude and appreciation, because while a government prepares a budget, outlines a program, there are always little needs here and there that cannot be met by the national budget, and the funding that you provide goes a long way in dealing with some of these issues, as has been outlined by Minister Joseph, especially in areas where you have footpaths that are needed and so on. And as has been indicated, we have also now moved into the area of utilizing some of those funding for our human capacity development as well, which I think is very important. And as a result, Ambassador, you will continue to see not just the impact that those projects create on the aesthetics of our community, but the long-term implications of the investment that is being made through the capacity that we build in our people.
The ceremony was held at the office of the Prime Minister. An entirely new executive now serves the Babonneau Youth and Sports Council after a long overdue election was finally held at the Community Multipurpose Center on Saturday. Youth work in Babonneau has proved challenging, but one educator is taking on the mantle of leadership with a strategy for success. Incoming president of the Babonneau Youth and Sports Council, Junior Dellis, has committed to building effective community partnerships for youth development. This pledge was made shortly after he and 6 others were elected to serve on the council's executive. His deputies, first and second vice president, are Amare Arthur and Sherwin Alexander, respectively. General Secretary Neil Francis, Treasurer Neil Marius, Assistant Secretary Treasurer Keana John, and Public Relations Officer Desian Clement. Before casting their votes, representatives raised concerns and spoke about their desire for youth development in the community. The new president explained how he would address these matters.
One of the things we want to look at is the holistic development of individuals. As you know, in Babonneau, we possess a lot of talent. But for our talent to take it to the next level, we need to develop some of those young persons. We also need to empower the households. Because if a household is empowered, you cannot get a maximum potential from it. It's obvious that Babonneau stands out. What we want to do to take it to the next level is to take the talent that we have, especially the young sportsmen, and empower them.
Immediate past President Bersha Auguste, who did not seek re-election, expressed her confidence in the council's newly elected team led by Delis.
The leader that they have been able to vote for in today, which is Junior Delis, he has been a youth advocate for years. I remember when he came to live in Babonneau, he had that whole conception that, youth work is done, I'm done. And for me, being a teacher, and I always say that, being a teacher, you're able to actually gather much more within the school. And I felt it was necessary as a past president to bring him on board as a volunteer on my council. And I'm proud today to state that I'm reaffirming that his responsibility in youth work is not done. Today shared great testimony of that. So he being the leader of that new force, and we have persons that are 18, persons who are SAFA. And I mean, these are fresh minds. These are the type of persons that we want to really come in within the community and see the change that they want to see.
Saturday's election was preceded by a youth forum where Babonneau's youth were engaged in activities that covered topics including team building, community volunteerism, leadership, and the frameworks that support youth work in St. Lucia.
In my view, today was pretty much successful. We started off with the youth symposium where we brought in a few presenters. Namely, we had Patrick Mathre, who's attached to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. He spoke about the history of the NYC, and more so, he actually had a presentation on leadership. Speaking about it and how they now can be sort of a leader within their own community. And we also had Ms. Esteva Satash from the Volunteer St. Lucia chapter, which spoke on volunteerism.
The National Youth Council General Secretary Rejan Montoute also briefed the attendees prior to the election on the roles and responsibilities of each executive post.
What we have noticed specifically towards the Babonneau Youth and Sports Council, it's been a difficult process because we're dealing with not only persons of different personalities, but persons who come from very different communities within Babonneau. The council also, and this is a problem we're seeing across different branches, we on the National Youth Council sometimes have to come into different councils and try to, dissolve certain personal issues that may come about in the councils. But so far, from what I'm seeing, and especially the different workshops that have gone before me, I think that we should probably see a difference in this new council.
Saturday's election was facilitated by the National Youth Council and the Ministry of Youth and Sports. The new Babonneau Youth and Sports Council will serve a 2-year term. St. Lucia and other parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity will be observing the 26th anniversary of International Day for Biological Diversity throughout the month of May. The United Nations has proclaimed the 22nd of May as the International Day for Biological Diversity to help increase understanding and awareness of biodiversity issues. The Secretariat for the Convention on Biological Diversity announced that this year's theme will be Our Biodiversity, Our Food, Our Health. The activities for International Day for Biological Diversity 2019 kicked off with a community education and sensitization campaign to raise awareness of preparation for the 6th National Report detailing the status of the country's biodiversity and to highlight St. Lucia's progress towards meeting national conservation targets. Community meetings were held in Babonneau, Soufrière, Dennery, and Vieux Fort. The Department of Sustainable Development will also host a biodiversity lecture series during the week of May 22nd and a food and health fair in collaboration with the OECS Secretariat at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College on Biodiversity Day, which is Wednesday the 22nd of May. Additionally, there will be public outreach via radio and television talk shows to afford viewers and listeners island-wide an opportunity to be further enlightened as to the current national efforts toward biodiversity conservation. Sustainable Development Minister Dr. Gail Rigobert, an avid supporter of effective environmental management, noted the crucial role that plants, animals, and microorganisms play in providing sources of food and medicines for millions of people around the world. Over 70 workers employed with Godad Catering Group Limited will now be working under revised and enhanced conditions. This as a result of the satisfactory completion of industrial negotiations between the company and the National Workers Union. The workers will receive upward adjustment rates of pay along with retroactive compensation effective November 2017. Fringe benefits that are in keeping with other NWU industrial agreements will remain the same. The industrial agreement will run for a period of 3 years with a relevant extension to be established by the parties. Arrangements are being made to have a speedy signing of the contract. This is the Hot 7 Nightly News. Tennyson Glasgow is up next with all the sporting action.